Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special episode of the Sexy Business Podcast. As always, I'm here as Lewd Neko, and joining me is Spooky Dangerous.
Hello.
And today we have the absolute honor of interviewing BishoujoMom. We talked about her on the podcast previously. Many of you have probably seen many of her absolutely amazing cosplays, and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about some of this content that she makes today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Obviously, you've worked with us before in THM Studios. We've done some cosplay stuff before, but we are curious in how did you get to that point? Kind of what really got you started and into the world of cosplay?
Oh, wow. So I've always been like pretty nerdy and like into anime and video games and comic books. And then when I found out that people would dress up and go to conventions, I was like, oh my God, like that is for me because I really do love fashion. And my grandma actually taught me how to sew, and like I kind of did like a little bit of seamstress stuff for a while. So I I think I fell into it at kind of an early age. Like I got really into making costumes when I was about 15, and then I'd go to conventions when I was like 16. Um like I guess like now from when I was 16 years old. And then but I didn't really start doing like more sexy stuff until I was about 18, 19 years old. And I think it was easy for me to kind of fall into that just because all the characters I really like are super sexy. So I was like, oh, like, and I've always been very like outgoing and like comfortable with like that side of me. Like I really love like all the sexy like sides that I have. So I was like, oh, this is really fun. But I think I got started just because like I made like an Instagram and I saw that there was like people like making and modeling costumes. I thought that was like really cool. So yeah.
When I kind of discovered you, you were in an era where I think your goal was to cosplay every single mum from a cartoon. I remember some like really obscure ones, like the mum from Dexter's Laboratory, the mum from Danny Phantom, and talking Marge Simpson. How did that come to you in an idea? Were you just like, this is my niche, it's time to just hit every single possible option? Like,
Yeah, so I am kind of like obsessive compulsive, and I'm like, oh, I like if I find something I like doing, I will try to do all of it like in every single like way, shape, or form. So I've always like had like a mom fetish, like that's kind of my own thing. And I've always been like curvier, like even before like body modifications, like I've always had like an hourglass. So I was like, oh, like I love that all these moms are shaped that way. Like I think I could really bring them to life and make them even more sexy because like it is technically canon that all moms have had sex because they have, children and stuff. So I was like, "Oh, like I can definitely like make that like part of my like fetish content." And I was like, personally, I still am really into that. And I only have a few moms left. Like I
Ooh.
moved from doing like because I still have like a couple more cartoon ones left, but I'm doing like sitcom moms and like live action moms now. So but I really do enjoy it. I just have a few left to do, and then I will have closed out that list. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be new moms that come out, so I'll probably still do like the new ones, but I'm trying to get all the classic ones down.
I think that passion really shows in a lot of your cosplays. Because I've also done like some camming and stuff like that. And I think when you have like an actual passion of some sort for whatever it is that you do in the sex work industry, like really shows in your work. And I think it can help you with managing the more difficult aspects. Because I've looked at like you've done just so not just the moms, but I'm also really impressed by like a lot of the sort of monster content you've created. You've done some really interesting work with like body paint and prosthetics, stuff that can be really difficult to pull off. And I just have to say, like, you pull it off really well when it comes to those sort of more tricky to sexualize characters, maybe.
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate that. I really do love the body paint and just the whole process of getting into character and like transforming myself. Like I always joke with like one of my best friends is really into X-Men, and she like identifies a lot with like Rogue, like she relates a lot to
Mm.
that character, but I always related to Mystique like down to the T. Like I feel like that's literally me. Just her backstory and everything, but also the fact that she can kind of like transform herself, and she's also like proud of it, like she's proud to be a mutant, and like I definitely feel that way. I love that I can transform, and I love that I can like be naked and do all this like fun stuff and like make that kind of a career. Like I'm very happy about it, but I do like the process as well. It's almost like calming for me when I'm just like getting painted or like doing my own makeup. It's very therapeutic.
How long does some of that kind of transformation process take? Because we've seen some stuff that does, I don't know, guess some prosthetics. There's a lot of props and stuff involved. Is it like a big long time, like we see with some of these big cinema hair and makeup kind of things?
Yeah, so it depends on like what look it is. I'll say that if it's a really detailed look, like my atomic heart, I did like a one of those like robot twins. That
Mm.
one took I think like 5 to 6 hours because there was like a lot of
Whoa.
little details. Yeah, so I was like
Sheesh.
that yeah, that takes a bit longer, but the ones that are like less detailed, I feel like can take up to like 2.5 hours. Um, but I'd say the most challenging days are when I'm trying to knock out multiple like characters. Um, like all in one day, because like for example, I was just talking about Mystique. I recently did three different versions of her. I did like a comic version, I did her wedding comic, and then I did the movie version all in one day, and that was brutal. Like that was a 17, 18 hour
Whoa.
shoot day. So I was like, I probably should have separated those days, but it was like I'm just kind of like the Energizer Bunny. I can keep going, but it is a little bit of a toll on my body because I'm like standing there all day. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But the success definitely does show because you are kind of undisputedly one of the biggest cosplay creators on a lot of different platforms. And we did kind of want to talk about how that's kind of happened. Do you have any kind of, I don't know, secret hacks or things that you do to manage and make this kind of thing easier for you? What is it like running that kind of social media account?
So right now it's like pretty challenging because I think I am shadow banned on all my main accounts because I made like two like side account. Like I made like because right now I have like my personal accounts where I go by Gouliette Michelle because usually like when I'm not in cosplay, I'm like kind of a spooky girl, like IRL. And so some people were like, "Oh, I'd love to see like your fashion and like what you look like outside of cosplay." So I made these accounts, and my Instagram like just got to like 100K, and the new Twitter I think is like at 30K or something. And for some reason I have better reach on those two accounts compared
Mm.
to my accounts where I have millions of followers. It is like the shadow ban. I've been flagged. I think even if I don't post sexy stuff, they'll still kind of flag my content for, either being too curvy or having too much cleavage or whatever. Like I think it's become a lot more strict, especially ever since like Elon Musk took over Twitter, because I feel like I used to dominate Twitter, and now I'm like, can I get a crumb of like views? Like, so it's kind of different now, but I am thankful that my stuff will still go viral. Like I do rely on people sharing, whether it's like, oh, I love this, or oh, I hate this. Like people sharing my stuff does help because right now my accounts are all kind of telling me that I'm not being put on the For You pages anymore, but I'm still able to sometimes break out of that if people do share. So I think like the secret is trying to, not like I intentionally try to make viral content, but if I'm able to get something that looks just super cool out there, maybe people will share it enough. And then also those new accounts that have good reach, sometimes I'll share even like a little bit of a cosplay thing on there and it'll do pretty well. So, because I don't have like a management team or like people to
Okay.
necessarily help me with that. I do have an assistant that's great. I love my assistant. Like they've actually been in some content with me. Their name is Suji Joe. Um, like or that's their username online, but I call them Joe. And they definitely help me with like organization stuff because there is like a lot. Um, and I get kind of like I'm like so busy all the time. I'm like I definitely need some help, but you know she does a great job. And yeah, but overall, like I think the biggest key right now is just trying to put out things that like that I'm like passionate about. Just because like if it is gonna get shown or not, it's like I might as well do what I want to do, and not just like always have to cater to something that might not even like get reach at all. So that's kind of my thing.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic, I absolutely have to ask, what is with Piccolo and the egg? It has been your Twitter banner for more than 2 years at this point by my count. What's the story
Yeah.
behind that?
I love Piccolo. Like that's my husband. That's like my daddy. I love him. I had that banner the entire time I've had Twitter. I made
Okay.
that Twitter account in like 2018, and I just had that photo on my phone, and I was like, you know, I love this because like my fans, like whenever I do live streams and stuff, and like a lot of my videos I do a lot of like oral focused content, and like they'll joke about me being like the throat goat and stuff, and I was like, oh, I like that he's like kind of the throat goat because he's like an egg. I was like, oh, that's great. So I just that's kind of why that's there, but I also just love Piccolo, and I think it's funny that he's like gagging on an egg sort of.
I love
Yeah.
that commitment to the bit, but also the commitment to like your husbando character. So we've talked a little bit about like what it's like sort of making this content, dealing with like the censorship on various social media platforms. We've talked about that a lot, very frustrating stuff. But what
Yeah.
about like the reception end? So like what have interactions with fans been like? So this could be like online stuff, like messaging, just looking at replies, but also I know you've done quite a few like con appearances and things like that where you've gotten a chance to actually see people IRL.
Yeah, no, I actually really love my fans and subscribers. Like I've had mostly like really positive interactions. Of course, I've had a couple, you know, not so great interactions throughout the time I've been here, but most of the time like my fans are very respectful because I do have my own convention. I do guest at other conventions too. And so far it's been a really like positive experience for me. I also do love like connecting and messaging with my fans, which I don't know if that's also me being parasocial. I have to like I had a whole conversation about that yesterday where I'm like, I hope like I'm not also because I really do feel like I connect with my fans. And I don't know if that's like weird or not, but I do
Mm.
develop like friendships, especially with like common interests and stuff. Like I love talking to my fans about like similar kinks or like similar like you know like oh we watched this anime or I played this video game that they played or whatever. So I feel like I enjoy that. Like I like making those kinds of connections. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And on top of like, having this huge fan base, putting out photo sets and stuff like that, you've also done quite a few bits of like merchandising or sort of outside ventures in the past. So right now, I believe your store is currently undergoing like some construction. Maybe this was due to like the Etsy. I know Etsy had some like content bans recently about like NSFW, unfortunately. But it was really
Yeah.
fun looking at some of your previous merchandise, like the booty pillow. You've done like some of the like titty mouse pads, even just like sexy stickers and things like that. So tell us a little bit about like maybe the process of deciding like what kinds of merchandise you want to produce, or if you have any kinds of merchandise like you would really like to do in the future.
So, oh, that's like, so yeah, you're definitely right about why my site is under construction. Like Etsy did, unfortunately, it kept banning my booty pillow. I was like, and I actually like just restocked them, so I haven't been able to sell. So I have like my garage is just like full of booty pillows and panties that I'm like, I would like to ship these out, but you know, I can't. Like I'm having trouble finding a payment processor right now that will accept me because a lot of them are
Mm.
very against even just like you know like a booty pillow, like that's not even like, at least in my, like I don't even think that's like considered like a sex toy or anything, so I was like that's crazy. um but once I get like like once I find a payment processor or a site that is okay with that, I'll like put all my items back up. But I'd say like this year a lot of new merch came out for me, and like part of it was like doing collabs with other companies. Like right now I had recently released a booby pillow, which you can buy. It's being sold off their website, and I have like a special edition, like little top for the boob pillow. So that came out. I have like a figurine that just came out. This one, like 3D artist and sculptor came to me and was like, "Oh, like we could do this collab." And I was like, "Oh, I've always wanted that. That's so cool." So we did that, and then oh yeah, there's a sex doll company that also approached me, and I do have a sex doll. I can maybe show y'all at the very end. She's actually like right over there. Uh, but they approached me, and I had like a full body scan and everything, which was really cool. Now, like I think the sex doll is very expensive to make. I had to put down like because I did help like with making the mold of it, because they needed like I forgot the exact amount, but I did give them like some money to be able to make the mold so they can make as many sex dolls as they want. But I think it costs like like almost 3,000 or something like that for one, which is high, but I've learned that a lot of those sex dolls are super expensive, and they
Hmm.
are like fairly like really heavy. Like I think my sex doll weighs more than me, just because like the boning and everything, it's like that's so insane. Um, but yeah, I for some reason all this collab stuff happened like within like the same couple months. So I feel bad. I'm like spamming merchandise to all my fans, and they're like, "Oh, my wallet and my bank is being drained," and I'm like, "I'm sorry. It's just it happens." But yeah, I'm really happy with the merch though. I'm hoping to continue like make and have more merch, but for some reason this year it seems to be like all of it dropped at once. So yeah.
You also got a chance to work with a game studio as a voice actress. Was this something that you were kind of looking for, or they just approached you and you were like, hell yeah? Or
So, well, I'd always wanted to do voice acting for a video game. I don't think that I'm like the best voice actress or anything like that, but I'd like to get more experience. But my friend, who I actually do a lot of content with, she had done voice acting for them, and she recommended me. And then I was like, I guess like the scene or the game that they put me in was like very on par with like I guess how I am too. Like the character I feel like translated like really well to me and like my voice. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So we just kind of did it, and that was like it was really fun. Like I had fun like recording the lines. I tried to make myself sound more like an anime girl, which was like it was very interesting because I feel like I don't really have like a super anime voice, but I think like I had pretty positive reception on it, so that was cool. But I'd be interested to do more voice acting work. But it's not something that I'll like actively like I guess put like my resume on. I maybe like I'm down to do it again, but I've been like a little busy, so maybe next year I'll actively search more for it.
it's all part of building the big brand, right? At this point, you're taking over nearly everything in the NSFW space. Soon you'll have cosplayed every single mother in every piece of media, and then also you will have done every type of piece of media in the NSFW space. Soon it will be hard to escape from you.
Yeah, I can't escape from me. I'm everywhere. Even
With
if they try to ban me, I'm still everywhere, you
True, because
know.
I do think you're probably the number one shadow banned person of all time. I
Oh
I
yeah.
struggled to like DM you or tag you in anything because I can't search your tag and it won't show up when I try to tag you in posts and stuff. I have to like literally go to your account because for the life of me I can't spell Bishojo, mono English speaker here. So I go and double check every time and then go and put everything in. But now hearing that the second account is starting and doing well, maybe as more people get across to that, that will hopefully help leverage you out of the prison that you are trapped in.
Yeah, I hope so too. I've also noticed that a couple other girls that I know are shadow banned will typically make just like several accounts just like with like their name or like a similar name, which I think can also be a little counterintuitive sometimes because I'm like, well, some people might think those are catfishes or whatever, but I've noticed like with how at least with how Instagram is, just having multiple accounts and just being able to get your content out there and like putting it on the For You page if you're able to get there is always beneficial. Because I think the main goal for most NSFW like people like in that space is really to get more subscribers and get more people to like go to their sites and everything. So I think like trying to push to For You pages is always important, but there's such a fine line there because if you like spam, they'll flag your account. If you do anything too sexy, because sometimes people can get away with it. Some people will post like,
Yeah.
you know, nips out. They'll get away with it somehow. And then some people show a little too much cleavage and like bam, they're done. So I think it is like a fine line, but I'm hoping the new accounts take off and I will try to be a little more careful on them. Still sexy, but I won't go too crazy on it because I just don't want to like continuously put all my accounts in shadow ban, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And we also had some exciting news for this episode because, as some of our fans might know, you did a cosplay of one of the characters from our main game, Shackles of Elswyn, I believe a year ago or 2 years ago, or something like that, of the witch character. And that was incredibly successful and well lauded by the fans. And so now we've just come back with another one where you have done the Queen. Now, I may, if I am incredibly lucky and gracious, edit something into the YouTube video because God knows if that's going to get banned or not. But otherwise, head to the Twitter and definitely check it out because I'm really excited about this one. Did you want to maybe paint a verbal picture with how this one came together so people can get an idea of this set?
Ooh, okay. Like, would you like me to just describe the like how I look in it or like how it all like how I got it all to happen?
A bit of both, because I think it's a unique outfit in itself, but also you have a lot of adornments like the elf ears and stuff as well, which I think people will appreciate.
Oh yeah. So actually I remember like you had commissioned me for this a while ago and I had reached out to one seamstress and she said she was gonna make it. Didn't happen. I was like, oh my God. And then I reached out to another seamstress. I had a lot of complications with people the past like year and a half, which was frustrating. So I do apologize on the delay. But yeah, the seamstress that did help me finish all this out. It did take a lot longer than expected, but I am really happy with it because there is like a steel boned corset
Ooh.
within the bodysuit, so it was able to even like snatch me up more. And it did like the seamstress did add like padding there, like to like for the mommy cock content, so I was really happy with that because like I love doing strap on content. That's actually like my favorite thing to do. Like I always feel like the most myself when I have that appendage. So yeah, I love doing like collabs with like with y'all and everything like that because I really do love these characters. But I did love the design of the queen because there's like a black like latex PVC type material that I wear, and it really like hugs my curves in like such a nice way. And then I have like a crown, I have elf ears. um I had like gloves and I had like this cool like choker thing with like these keys, which I'm assuming are like chastity keys, which was
That's it.
like hot.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was like, I actually the keys I used were the keys to my snake cages. I have like 10 snakes, so I just put the keys on my necklace. I was like, yeah. So that's kind of how I got that together. But I actually shot it right here. I have some Christmas stuff I'm still decorating, but I shot a lot of it here because it looked nice for it. So I was like, oh yeah, like I'll shoot it. And I did do a video, which I'll send you the video once it's edited. I like to, every time I do a photo set, I also like to do a video as well. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you all like it.
I know I do. I've have the pleasure of seeing everything in advance before we go and post it. But I'm sure that all of our fans will really appreciate this one as well. The Queen is one of the favorite characters because I think that she has perhaps the most mommy dommy vibe of all of them. She's the most in control, has obviously the most power being the Queen, but I think you do a fantastic job of bringing this character to life, which as a creator that makes games, it's not usually a thing that we get an opportunity to see. So it is really satisfying to be able to see that come together. Um, and yes, there was a long wait, but I'm sure that the fans will be just as excited now seeing it as they were last time seeing The Witch.
Very worth
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wait.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thanks for being patient. I do have a seamstress now that helps me that is a lot faster too. So I don't think I will have a long wait time issue like that. I think a lot of things happened the past year with especially like overseas like
Mm.
shipping and stuff. Especially because like my a lot of my main seamstresses were in like the Russia and Ukraine area. So I think that
Right.
that also had a lot to do with like delays and like customs and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'm always down to collaborate, and thanks for thinking of me to do that because I really, as I said, like I really love these characters, and I also love like the process of because like what the prosthetic that I wear, because I know some people will just wear like a usual like a regular strap on, but I
Mm.
actually have this like pant thing that has the strap like attached to it, so it looks like it's already blended into my skin,
Mm.
which is really cool. I don't know if y'all noticed that. But I really enjoy wearing it. I think it's pretty cool. And I've actually used it, or I've had friends wear it and use it on me, and I use it on my friends. So it's like, it just, I don't know. I think it's really cool. And I think it makes it a little more accurate too. So
It's like
yeah.
the sisterhood of the traveling strap.
Right? Yeah. And it's cool because I got it off of, I think this site's called Roner. They have a lot
Oh, I
of,
know them. Like
yeah, they have like a lot.
cross-dressing prosthetics and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of people will get like the big boob um plate, they
Oh
like the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
breastplate
yeah.
things. Yeah, but I'm like, I already have the boobs. I just need the giant I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word on here, so I'm trying to censor myself, but y'all know what I mean. Giant eggplant. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, we are almost at our time here, and I do want to hit you with some last questions because you did mention it earlier. I'm curious to know what is your favorite video game and what is your favorite anime? I know, real easy, fast question for the last minute or so, but I'm curious to know if you have one
Okay.
on the top.
So, video game is very hard because there's so many video games I love. I'll say that right now I've been super captivated by Cult of the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
That has been like
Ooh.
my comfort game. I fall asleep playing it. I play it on the plane. And that's like had my attention for a while. I have like so my favorite video game series of all time, I think, is Fire Emblem. Like I really love all the Fire Emblem games. I've played almost all of them multiple times. I love turn-based RPG style games. It's almost like I'm playing chess. Like I love that shit. So I think Fire Emblem, I'll say, will always be like at the top, like just that whole series. But Cult of the Lamb, Animal Crossing, I like Baldur's Gate a lot. There's just so many other games like World of Warcraft that I go so hard in. And then favorite anime of all time, I think I'm gonna have to say The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That is still one of my
Yes.
all-time favorite animes ever. Um, yeah, that was like one of the first, like, I guess, because I started getting really into anime around like 2006.
Mm.
And that I think that was like the best year of anime because you have like Death Note, which is also one of my favorite animes, and then
Mm.
Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and like Adult Swim Toonami was like popping during that time. So I'll say that that was like some of the best time for anime. So definitely that.
All right, sounds good. It's been a pleasure to have you on. We won't keep you around for much longer, but if anyone is looking, I'm sure if you Google BishoujoMom or Juliet Michelle is where you are found in most places, you'll be able to see more of our fabulous guests. Maybe pick up one of the many body pillows that is littering in your garage currently, or have a look at some of the really cool photo sets, videos, and other content on, you know exactly the site where to find them. And hopefully, here on the Sexy Business podcast, we've been able to shine a light into one of the great NSFW creators that we have these days. And I'm excited to hear what you all think of some of the cool stuff we got to talk about today. So don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the other subscribe button on the Bluer site, and then hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you
Bye.
so much for having me. Also, I can show you all the doll if you want to see it.
That might
Ab-
need to get edited out,
Absolutely.
depending on
I mean,
if
I
it is
want to see it.
clothes.
No, she is clothed. I
Okay.
promise. She is clothed. Wait, give me 1 second. Like running around.
All right, super secret bonus content. Let's have a quick look.
Oh my god.
She has like my red wig on, but if we had black hair, we'd be the same. Wait.
Amazing. Twinning.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
She has makeup on though, and I don't. So she's winning a little bit more today, but yeah. Well, yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
All right, thanks
Yeah.
again, and I'll let you go.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.